So welcome to Emmanuel's Manual, and today we have a special guest. She's a female friend of mine who I know from the internet, and she's actually a really brilliant person. But I'll let the talk
Oh,
refrain.
that's so sweet.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's how we
Since when
interact with
you're
each
so
other.
sweet? Since when you're so sweet to me? This is abnormal to me.
I'm normal.
But okay,
I treat you
okay,
well
go
as a
on, go
friend.
on. Since when?
Since
Since
when?
today?
Not today.
Since
I'm a
when
good
you
boy.
treat me well, bro?
I carry your bag when we hang out.
Okay, sure. Okay, you know what? Okay, that's true.
That's true. Okay.
Thank you for carrying my bag. All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. A real friend do that for each other. Like if you have a bag, you know what? I'll probably not carry it for you anyway.
Yeah, because and then you'll be like, it's a man's job to carry the woman's bag. I'm like, okay.
Okay, I'm not saying it's a man's job. It's like that's what gentlemen do. Don't you want to be a
Yeah,
gentleman?
yeah, you
Like,
literally like shove that
you
into my
know?
face and be like, um,
Okay. In my defense, you know, I would in my defense I was going shopping and like you cannot carry bags when you're shopping because otherwise you don't have the energy to go shopping. So it's basically not my problem.
so basically it's a wise
Didn't
choice.
you didn't you have fun shopping with me though? Like you
Yes,
gonna admit like
yes, it's fun. Or else I'm not gonna, go out with you at all. So yeah, but
bruh.
it's funny. But it's
Okay.
funny. It's funny to mention, like, because I never seen a girl that, you know, will say like, "Please carry my bag," because that would be a gentleman. Because that would be what a gentleman do. And I'm like, okay, okay,
You know why? Because you don't really hang out with your female friend, you
right,
know?
fair point, fair point.
Right? Like if you think about it, when do you have other female friend that would be like, "Hey, just carry my bag." Like, no,
I do have
you
other
don't
female
have that.
friends, like one or two,
I
one or
um
two.
sure, of course. What I mean is like you wouldn't go shopping with them. Or like if they want to go shopping, would they ask you to go shopping with them? No, they would ask their other female friends.
Right. I always
Right, they
carry
wouldn't be like,
I always
yeah.
carry the bag for my mom, so it's fine. But
Oh, that's so sweet. Then why would you not carry the bag for me then?
you're like a bro to me. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, kidding.
I am like a bro to you.
Yeah,
That
yeah. You're like
exactly.
say it.
Yeah. No, you say it.
Like I would say like our friendship is really special because like we're really honest to each other, and I like that. Well, part of the reason why we stay connected is because like it's hard to find an honest friend that so
Oh, that's so sweet. I wish you can always be this sweet.
you're trying to
Even after
infer
the
that
pod
I'm not.
even after this podcast, I hope you can always be this sweet. But unfortunately, that's not the case. It's okay though.
Okay, so people may not know, but I'm from Hong Kong and you're from mainland, and
Mm-hmm.
and people think that they're similar in some ways, but yeah, they're similar in some ways. We speak differently,
Can we speak this? Yeah.
but we write similarly in some ways. But there's actually pretty decent amount of difference, and maybe we can talk about that this podcast. So what do you think that
Yeah, I guess.
like that's most prominent or like most obvious? Like what's the difference that because you studied here for a while, so you know what's the
Mm-hmm.
difference, I guess. Can you tell me like what's special about Hong Kong, or like what's special about mainland that creates a difference?
Mm, what is special about Hong Kong? Mm, Hong Kong is more free. Free as in um like people are free to be who they want to be and nobody's going to judge you for it. And everyone have their own lifestyle and other people respect it. But in mainland sometimes I feel like that's not the case. You know, like people, because the social norm, there's like a certain types of social norm in mainland that you need to do specific things in specific age. Like you're gonna graduate from high school when you are like 17, 18, and you're gonna go to college. And then after that, you will graduate on time, like in around 21, 22 years old. And then after that, you better get like a master's degree or something. And then after you graduate, you should get a job. Like, I feel like there's a certain social norm in mainland, and that at least that's how it is for me. That I have a specific expectations to fill in when I reach certain age, but I feel like that is not necessarily common in Hong Kong. I feel like people are free to do whatever they want regardless of the age. Like you can have gap years during your college and you can explore after you graduate, and you can do a master's degree when you're like 40 years old, and you can start a new business when you're either 18 or like 30. But then if you do that in mainland, that would be considered immature, or you started out a new career too late. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I didn't study for 2 years, and I didn't feel like my mom kind of gave me pressure like the second year that I'm not studying. But the first year that I'm not studying, my mom is like, it's okay, you know, you're emotional and you can handle stuff, and she let me like work a part-time job in a company that she knows, like with people that she knows, and then
Mm-hmm.
gradually after that, you know, but in the end I have to go back to study. Like the kind of that's kind of a similarity with mainland, I guess, in the sense that there's still like kind of stereotypes and still kind of fixed expectations, but maybe not as crazy as mainland. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, it's I because when you say like you feel like it's easier and it's freer to live in Hong Kong in terms of those stereotypes, I feel like it's the same in Hong Kong. It's just maybe there's more variety of differences comparing families in comparison to like maybe in general like people in mainland have a stronger stereotype or stronger requirements.
Mm-hmm. I feel like in mainland it's definitely more strict, and
Do you like it?
um mm, the striction, like the way how they're strict about it.
No.
Then what do you mean? What thing do I like?
I
What are
mean, do
you
you like
referring
that
to?
there's kind of like a pressure or like a, I don't know, like requirements or restrictions provided by parents? Because sometimes that can be a sense of like guidance or like, or like it can lead you to something maybe. Because like when you're living in a place with more freedom, sometimes you can't make choices or you make bad choices. Do you think that it
I
helps
mean,
you to make choices?
okay, that is true. I feel like my parents definitely helped me a lot during my growth. And I guess I didn't realize I have a choice only after I got into my master's degree. I didn't realize I have a choice
Okay, your
of life.
mic is
And
lagging.
to do different things. Is lagging? Is after I got into a
Oh,
master's degree.
yeah, it's
Better now?
lagging. Give me a sec.
My mic. Hold on. I think
It's okay now.
my Wi-Fi is lagging.
It's okay now.
Oh, okay. Cool. Because my Wi-Fi is lagging sometimes. Okay, but did you hear what I said before?
Not really. Sorry.
Okay, I said it's all right. I said I didn't really realize I have a choice after until I got into my master's degree that I realized, oh, I can actually have different options that I can choose from. Because before I really just followed the path that my parents paved for
Mm-hmm.
me, and I know it's there for my own good. And I'm not like resented them for any of it because I actually appreciate the effort they put in.
Right.
And I actually did have a pretty good um life
Career.
path in front of me. And then I guess yes, freedom does mean you have a chance to make the wrong choices. But who can really determine if you're making a wrong choices?
Yeah, I guess that.
It's really objective about like if this choice is right or wrong. You might like ended up on the street, begging for money or something. But I don't know if you like it, if you like that life, maybe you're making the right choices for yourself.
Yeah, you can. You can. That's a fair point. Like, it's somehow subjective in some ways. Like, but there's also a general tendency of like what's better and what's not. And I guess. Well, I also think that parents how parents educate their kids will influence
Mm-hmm.
how they subjectively feel about certain jobs or certain career path. So if your parents
Mm-hmm.
educate you, quote unquote, well, in like how to become a doctor and make you like the idea of being a doctor, then eventually you go on
Mm-hmm.
and be a doctor. So if a parent makes you like the job or makes you like the way you live, then you will go on the path and smoothly you'll end up be a doctor or something like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
guess parents do play a role too in your subjective feeling on whether it's something that you like or not. But
Yeah.
what about anything else, like besides jobs, career path,
Mm, I guess how people are more accepting.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, because okay, this is all just like personal feelings, like somebody
Yeah.
could completely feel the opposite. But for me, I feels like I'm more I feel like if you do something in Mainland, maybe there's gonna be people that be disapproving your choices. But I feel like in Hong Kong, people just like really don't give a fuck.
Yes, I was trying to say that. I was trying to like say it after you say it. Like, but it's like maybe we maybe it's more like we don't give a f about everything. Like even when I'm talking to my friends, some they're really like critical about certain stuff, but in the end they're like, do whatever you want. I don't care. Just as long as it doesn't affect me or doesn't like hurts me, then go on. Maybe maybe it's some kind of mixture of like some kind of Western values, like freedom of speech or like freedom of expression in some ways. Like you can do
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want, but if you affect me, I'm gonna chase you and kill you. But if you're not gonna affect me in any way, I'm not. I'm really not gonna give a fuck. And I'm like, Is it a good thing? To a certain degree, it is, but I would say that like relatively, like everything affects you in a relatively huge way, or a minimum way, a minimal way. Everything in the end affects you. It's just whether you, or how, like, where's the threshold that determines whether you do an action or genuinely care about it. And maybe the threshold for people in Hong Kong were kind of low, well, high, so that even if it affects them a little bit, they doesn't really care about it. They just let it go. But I'll
Mm-hmm.
be honest, like, I don't want to talk about politics because it's not that safe. But politics is like one of the idea that you can see that when they really affects you in some way, all the people went crazy and just rush out and like rebel, or like or like protest, things like that. But and I also realized
Mm-hmm.
that you can't really protest that much in mainland, but in Hong Kong, like, people always protest, so maybe they do care, but they express it in a different way. Maybe, I'm not sure, because
I'm not sure either.
people people do care, but like it's to whether how they express it.
But like different kind of care, I
Yeah,
guess. I don't know. It's an interesting thing to think about it because in traditional Chinese culture, if you are having like if you're calling someone a good friend, it would be saying they are thinking out for you. They are trying to tell you what's the best for you and not like if you're trying to make for example, if you're going to make a bad decision, they will be stopping you. Be like, hey, I don't think that's the right thing to do, blah, 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 right? That's how, in the traditional sense, how we think a caring friend would be. But I feel like, because I also have friends in North America,
right,
I feel like sometimes they would think of a friend that is supporting them and agreed with their decision is a more, I don't know, a quote unquote better friend. For example, if they're gonna make a bad choice, then they would prefer their friend be like, "Hey, I'm here for you. I support your decision 100%. Don't worry about it." Even though they might be making the biggest mistake of their life, but they don't wanna their friend to step in and interfere with their choices. So I think in essence it's kind of like the individualism in the society because they prefer to stay as an individual and make their own choices and be responsible for it. While in Chinese traditional Chinese culture, it is considered instead of like in individualism, it's more like what's that word, like you're being perceived as a whole group, and then your friend is gonna trying to look out for you. They will try to prevent you from make bad decisions. I have friends that done that for me before and I really appreciate them. And but I don't feel like that's necessarily true because I feel like if I do that for like other friends that is under similar Western culture influence, they would be like, "Oh, please don't interfere with my own choices. Just like be here and support me and whatever." So I feel the definition of being a good friend is perceived very differently through the culture.
yeah. I feel like being a good friend lies somewhere in the middle. You have to let your friends have some kind of freedom, some kind of certain degree of freedom, because some choices are really choices that you can't really know if those choices are right choices, and in those scenarios you should let them be them. But there are also serious choices that that can affect someone really drastically in a good way or a bad way, that you can, make the conscious choice by telling them that it's a good choice or it's a bad choice. And like it's just like the metaphor, like the threshold, like exceeding some kind of
Mm-hmm.
threshold, you have to help and give critical advice. But below the threshold, it's okay. Just let them be them. So I feel like sometimes people kind of go both ways towards both extremes. But in
Yeah,
reality,
but
you have to
how would
do
you?
both.
Yeah, I
How
mean,
will you
true, but
know?
how would you define the threshold? Because for me, sometimes when I feel like a friend is making a bad choice, for example, like get back into a toxic relationship or something, they really like love them to death and they feel like they cannot live without their significant other, but I know for a fact that it is a toxic relationship. But I know for a fact if I stepped in, then my friend would hate me. They were like, "Oh, why are you stopping me from happiness?" So how
Yeah,
would you exactly define this threshold? Because obviously different people is different. For me, if I'm doing that, I would love someone that's my friend to stop me and say, "Hey, this is not okay. Don't do this. It's gonna be bad for you." I would need that. I would actually appreciate them doing that. But I don't know. For some people, they might don't want it because some people don't take relationship advice well.
I guess it's like, like a clinical psychologist will be like, I'll try to give you advice and help you make clear about the logic and guide you towards the solution. But in the end, the conscious choice should be made by the person or the patient. So what we can do is to try to be
Mhm.
is first of all be genuine and lay out the logic, and but in the end the choices are for them to make, not for us to make. And as friends, we have
Mhm.
the responsibility for us is just to make their responsibility clear and make our responsibility clear by being honest and show them the logic or the preferable solution, and then you leave the rest to them.
Mm. Mhm.
Because if you make the choice for them, if they like if in the end it ends up good, they'll appreciate it. But if it ends up bad, they're not gonna appreciate it. They're gonna like
That
hate you. They're really gonna hate you.
yeah.
And even if it
But
ends up good, it doesn't feel like it's their responsibility, because they flow the question to you and you provide the solution and help them do it. And what can they learn in all of this? They can learn nothing. They just learn to like rely on someone, or to hate someone if it ends up bad. So it's tricky. Yeah, it's
mhm.
a tricky thing to like help. But what I would do is that I'll like I have a friend that that smokes and drinks a lot, and I tell them that the logic or like the biological fact that if you smoke you most likely get heart attacks or lung cancer, blah 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 blah. But I won't go up and pick up the cigarette and tear it into pieces. It's not my responsibility. My responsibility is to make things clear and provide my suggestions. And in a world with this, with so many religions, belief systems, you
Mhm.
have to be kind of little humble when you're acting out your principles or your belief, and you just make sure that your voice is being heard, and that's the ultimate goal. And beyond that, leave it to God, universe, or the other person to do it.
Yeah, and the other person's judgment.
Yeah,
That's fair. I think that's cool.
let them make the choice. and
Yeah,
and that's
but
why I appreciate our
sometimes
friendship.
people
You
are
know,
just
we're
dumb.
honest and we give brutal advice to each other. That's and I like that.
Oh, thank you.
Or else I won't talk to you at all. You know, but like you're really honest. And I just like going back to the bag thing. I like that you're honest about you're a gentleman. You should be carrying my bag. I'm like, right, okay, I'll do it. I like the way that you're being really straightforward. I'm like, that's good. I like it. I actually like it. I bet. I just don't like the fact that I'll get tired a little bit. Anyway,
Yeah, you get tired, but I just don't give a fuck. Yeah, let's go.
exactly. Ah,
Why are you gonna make me like sounds like a bad person? No,
you're
I'm
not a
honestly
bad
like so
person.
nice.
You're so nice. Yeah, you're nice.
I'm honestly a nice person. Just
Right.
sometimes I act crazy.
Sometimes.
Yeah, just like sometimes, not like all the time. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like our friendship is established on a weird common understanding, and I do appreciate too. I do appreciate it. The fact that you always give me very straightforward advice and me not listening to them at all is kind of funny.
Well, you know, everyone believes in something that they believe in. So
Yeah.
you can't really you can try to change someone, but in the end, the final choice is theirs to make. I kind of learned it from. I think I kind of
Um,
learned it from my past relationship. I guess with with you know with my ex or something. I realized that even if you're trying to change
yeah.
someone, if if they believe in it, they'll stick with it. If they don't, you know, when you leave the relationship and look carefully, you know how much they will change, and are they changing in a way that you tell them not to do, or in a way that you tell them that's all right, you know. And I feel like the relationship that I had before got me realize that
Mm-hmm.
something can be changed, or something, or the final choice must be made by the other person himself or herself. And so I kind of let it go. I kind of like I have really crazy friends. I'm not saying you. I'm saying like I got really crazy.
Oh, okay. If oh my God, if we're
If
thinking about this rationally,
okay,
if we're thinking about this
yeah, you're not
rationally,
crazy. You're not crazy.
I'm literally like the most normal friend you would ever have that is being very honest with you.
You're right. Yeah. What I'm
Okay,
saying
like
is that
compared to your crazy friend, I'm actually pretty normal and nice. Just I'm just brutally honest about how I feel and think.
right, right.
Right. Okay, continue.
Yeah. Like the more people I met, the more I realized that like people construct the world with different ideas. You can if you're trying to change something, it's probably kind of fixated by other beliefs or other thoughts. It's really hard to like to immediately change someone or to like drastically change someone unless there's not really a way to do it. To be honest, I believe. So
Okay, but I would like to add that it is hard or nearly impossible to change someone because it is really hard to change yourself to begin with.
yeah,
So, how are you going to expect to be able to change another person when you can hardly change yourself? I think that's like unrealistic to expect you have the power to actually change someone, since if you think about it, if like for example, if you're in a relationship and your partner are telling you some parts of you that she think you should change, would you just accept and be like, yeah, sure, I will change? Or would you rather be like, but this is who I am, you should accept me for who I am, that's why we're together because we like each other, not because I need to fit into this version of me in order to be liked. So vice versa, even though she might have some things that you don't like about her, but maybe in her opinion, you're just trying to change her in a way that you would like, and she probably doesn't like that.
Right. So it takes time and it takes effort to change someone. So the best thing you can do,
Mm-hmm.
but like you say it's hard to change yourself, but I think the best thing you can do is to really change yourself and to prove to others that your ideas, your thoughts, your belief works. And then, and do what you're responsible for. Telling others, give them advice, and beyond that, beyond changing yourself and improving yourself and giving out genuine responses and advice, there's not really anything else that you can do. And then you can just let it be and let
Mm-hmm.
it. Yeah. And I'm really learning these few years to really let things be. Because it's,
Oh, you do?
yeah, I do. I do really like try to learn that. Like, I guess in the past, I'm way more crazier and I always want to like force my
I
belief on
wouldn't.
someone. No, you like
I wouldn't.
it's before you know me, I guess. I'm really trying to like force my ideas on someone, and now I'm like, I'll state my ideas and my belief, and this are the evidence that I found, and then I'll instead of saying that you should believe in what I believe, I'll say, what do you think? Something like that.
Mhm. I think that's a very solid improvement.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and you are less annoying because of that.
great.
But also, I think um I feel like I used to be someone that would impose my ideal to other people as well, and I don't really feel bad about it. That's the crazy part, is that you don't even think you're doing the wrong thing.
I like even now when I'm talking about my ideas to someone, like really excited. I'm really excited about it, and like I won't feel guilty because like it's the choice.
Yeah.
So I'm like being an asshole in some ways. Like it's your choice. I'm not gonna help you. I'm just gonna say what's right. Blah blah blah. And then if you're not gonna do it, mm, your choice. If you can flourish by not listening to me, good for you. If you if your situation got worse because you didn't listen, um, maybe I'll give you the same advice again and see if you change. You know, but
Hmm.
because it's not my responsibility anymore, I kind of like alleviate. I kind of like extract the responsibility from me. Let them care for themselves, and I feel a lot more
Yeah.
relieved. So it's that you shouldn't feel guilty about it. Like like if you're doing what I'm doing right now, if you're forcing beliefs on someone and they failed, maybe a little bit guilty, I guess. But but yeah, I'm trying not to be guilty, and I think that you're doing the same too.
Yeah, I'm trying not to feel guilty too. Sometimes I regret not taking my friend's advice, to be honest.
Hmm. And then that's where your responsibility start to like take place, because that is your responsibility. You're responsible for your choice, and that's okay. Because if you don't feel guilty, how can you make sure that you're you know how can you make sure that you're knowing what's the right path? You have the mechanism to feel sad, to feel guilty, to feel regret, so that you know what's right, and then move on to flourishing.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's true. That's very true.
like there's the there's a man that said, like, memory is not for you to reminisce about the past, but it's for you to construct your future. So you can look at it in like more about in a more optimistic or more like learningful manner, so that you're actually using your past, your regrets, your your sadness to know more and act better, instead of thinking about it as I regret about this, and I'm gonna think about it, bring regret about it for days and days.
Yeah. Yes, that's true, but yeah, you shouldn't be feeling regretful for some of the choices you already make because after all, you're responsible for making that choice,
And then
right?
tell yourself to get over it and move on. Is the next
Bro,
step.
if only life is that easy. If only life is that easy, I wouldn't like look back and be like, "Oh, I wish I did that sometimes." It's easier
To say,
saying than do so.
yeah, it's really easy to say.
Yeah,
Just like someone with mental disorder, they keep on thinking about the past, or feeling depressed about it, and trap themselves inside that tiny little circle, and just think about it all day long. But
yeah,
if they go out and maybe like do gym, do sports, like actively do something else, like trying to look forward, maybe that'll help. But
I agree.
it's still hard to do. When you're sad, how can you stop your mood from affecting your actions, and really like move on? Sometimes I believe that actions is a good way to guide your mood, because your mood affect your actions, but your actions also guide your mood. So sometimes I believe that
Hmm.
to move on, you really have to go like do something else. But to kind of extract the mood out of your actions and really push push on, like continuously do something else, is a really hard thing to do in the first place. So people are making it sound like it's easy. Is it? It's not really.
I have another question.
Yeah.
How would you determine when it is okay to step in a relationship and when you should get out of a relationship?
mm, I'm not an expert on this.
Right, it's okay. I'm
But
not either. No, but
I
I
guess
just
I guess
want your
honesty. I
honest
guess
opinion.
yeah. I guess honesty is like a really important way of looking at it. Like I always say, like a man is seeking truth for survival, and your partner or your couple is still trying to help you. Is trying to help you like determine, not determine, help you learn more about the truth. Have you? Oh, come on, just a phone call. Um, a partner should help you learn more about reality or the objective truth, so that you can survive better, So it's like two persons helping each other out. And if you feel like the person is not really helping you, then maybe you should, But I don't really
Mhm.
recommend people to like abandon others. I feel like everyone can change. But in the same time, I know that to to help others, or to help others, it takes a lot of effort and lots of danger. I'll say because you don't want to
Mhm.
get hurt. So that's why
Exactly.
so that's why I would say. Look, I always tell people you should find someone that really, really, really matches your value. Like I won't say exact. Like if you're a Christian, find a like in the Bible they say that a Christian should be finding someone that believes in the same. So so part of it is because when you change someone, if they're so different, so different from you, you can't really change them easily. But if they're really similar to you
Mhm.
only have to change a little bit. You only have to change them or
Mm.
others a little bit. So that's like one of the reasons. But the other reason is that if your worldviews are so different, how can you communicate together and combine your worldviews to seek the truth or the objective reality? So to me, you have to kind of like make your standards high, really really high, and then stick with the person that the standard leads you to. So I'm not
Mm.
gonna talk about whether when I should when I should decide to leave, but I want to talk about when I should decide to
We
join
should
in the relationship
get out.
because that's the more important part. Because like leaving the relationship sometimes is hurting others and it's not really, I won't say healthy, but not really unhealthy. I would say that it's kind of like it might hurt others. So so to not get hurt, you should make a standard high and make
Mm.
rigid choices in the first place. You won't do it afterwards. You do it before that.
Right. And what would you consider the most important characteristics other than being honest, like genuine, like you shouldn't lie with each other, right? Other than that, and other than have sharing the same value.
Worldview, yeah.
Yeah, like other than that two part, what would you say is the third most important thing you should look at for a partner?
To be honest, I think that's enough already, kinda.
Okay, but
Like you
what
remind me
if
of like
they
there's a triangle of love. Like, give
mm-hmm.
me a second. I'm gonna Google it.
It is passion, intimacy, and commitment.
Yeah, and
Like,
then people will say like you need intimacy and you need passion. I'm like, yeah, it may exist somewhere in the beginning of the relationship, but after you grow old, it kind of all lies on commitment.
true. I would have to agree with you. Yeah.
So, and if you commit with each other, you spend more time in communicating and you have intimacy. And I guess the passion kind of comes with the commitment too. If you're committed, you like, I won't say, will you be passionate if you are committed? I feel like they're somehow connected, but I believe that the most important element should be commitment because a lot of the liking, the passion won't really last too much, but the responsibility and the honesty, the responsibility that builds with commitment will make things last. and you won't expect your future spouse to be as pretty as as pretty as they are in the 20s when they're in the
Big.
60s.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
basically commitment, but commitment is based on honesty and worldview. And if you're honest and if your worldview, actually when you have a similar worldview, it's already hard hard to how to make you not trust each other, because it's hard to find someone that believes similarly. So you most probably stick with it. But maybe I'll that's what I'm thinking right now. But maybe it'll change in the future. Maybe if I learn more. But I really
Mm-hmm.
emphasize on commitment.
I see. So you don't really, how
Mm,
would I describe it? So you don't really focus on the appearance or the personality.
the similar worldview
I
includes personality. Well,
Is it? Because you
no,
can
no, no,
share the
not really. No.
similar word.
What do you mean by?
Yeah. So I feel like you can share the similar word with you, but you would have like really, really different personality. Because
Like,
I feel like our personality is quite different, but we kind of like share the similar view. That's why we can still be talking. Because if we're sharing different values, or if we're sharing very different values, then how can we be talking? Because you would just be like, okay, this woman is crazy, or I'd be like, this guy is crazy, right?
yeah.
But we have very different personalities. So I would say, I think personality for me it's like the um I don't know, for me personality is more important than commitment.
Well, I guess you can. I guess you can also put. I can also put personality as the the third the third important criteria. But if you talk about appearance, like
Mm-hmm.
I I have a lowest. I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I have a lower standard for Christian girls in terms of appearance. I genuinely do, because because
Mm-hmm.
like to me, if I'm knowing someone that's non-Christian, and I have to make sure that her ideas and values are similar to mine, I have to pay a lot of effort to try to change her, and it's hard. I won't say change her, but to suggest what's better to her and trying to make her believe in the same. Then it'll be a lot harder comparing to a Christian girl that already have similar values like mine.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, actually, when I'm I still use dating apps, although I know it's not a good way of knowing girls, but some of the
Bruh,
dating apps.
oh my god. I've been telling you forever, stop using dating apps. Cause if no normal, no good Christian girls
I
would
know, I
use
know,
dating apps if you
I
think
know.
about it. Yeah, which suggests you're not a good Christian
No,
guy.
no, no.
But
Listen,
anyway.
well, I went to my university's Christian fellowship,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a really funny phenomenon. We were eating like we can I don't know what some chicken, something like that, and then there's a girl in front of me telling the 10 people in the table that, oh, I never have a boyfriend. I want a boyfriend. Like she believes in Christianity, and then there's a boy
Right?
next to me, like telling me and others that, oh, I don't have a girlfriend, I want a girlfriend. And then I looked at them both and I'm like, the girl is sitting in front of me and the boy is sitting next to me, both talking about similar topics, but they're not looking at each other and considering that,
Yeah.
the other person as the, as a
As
as
a
a choice,
potential.
their potential,
y-
target. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, what are you
I
doing?
think that's normal. Maybe because they're just not each other's type, you know?
Yeah, maybe, but uh,
You
but
just
I
think
guess
that's
when you're
weird that
yeah, it's kind of weird. It's actually kind of weird. I know that maybe like they don't have like feelings or like or any like I don't know. Maybe they don't like really what don't they like? Those two persons is kind of they're both okay. I don't know what's the reason behind. Maybe
oh
they don't have the chemistry, like you said. You always tell me that they need chemistry, but
yes. How would you fall in love with someone if you don't have chemistry? If you don't have chemistry, how would you have commitment? You wouldn't have commitment to somebody you don't like, right?
yeah, but I also think that
Like,
chemistry can kind of build up during a relationship or like during you being committed. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe you're right.
I
Like cause you
I
put
mean, yeah.
chemistry before the whole relationship. I think the chemistry can happen in different
Mhm.
stages.
Yes, I agree. Yes, the chemistry can happen in different stages. But the thing is, if you don't have one chemistry, like the spark in the beginning, how would you build it afterwards? You know? That's my thinking on that.
Okay.
Like, if you don't have something to begin with, how can you build it?
Because I was thinking about the blind dates arranged by parents in arranged marriage. I'm thinking about whether like how can they stick with the marriage? Is it because of religion or did they create chemistry during the commitment? Like after the commitment? Yeah, that's
I
that's
think it's the later one. They build commitment during that, and also they're forced to
yeah.
build one. Yeah. Who, I don't know, do you think you will be entering a arranged marriage? Do you think that's gonna happen to you?
I don't think so.
Okay, then if in that case, would you think you would be okay to build a commitment with some Christian girl you never met, aka kind of like blind arranged marriage?
Did I know how she looked?
You don't.
Oh
But you
no.
know
No, I'm
she's some
scared.
you but you and you okay, but the thing is you said yourself you don't really care about the looks.
Yeah. Like I have a lower threshold, lower threshold, but I still have a threshold.
Okay. You Lydia, you're so funny. You're like I still have a threshold. Okay, that's fair. Okay, the girl. Okay, if
You're
you think
trying
about
me.
it, the girl is arranged by your parents.
Hmm.
So I don't think they were likely to find you a a girl that you wouldn't be able
Yeah.
to accept.
Hmm.
So in that case, would you consider building a commitment with that girl?
If they're not really finding a girl that I hate, like not hate, like like who I really dislike in terms of appearance, I think it's okay. To be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I'm
See,
willing to like
for you,
try.
so see, you still need chemistry. Otherwise, it would be hard even for you to
If
be like, yeah, I'm so
right,
down. I'm totally down to marry her, even though it's a girl I never met.
okay,
Yeah, that
you're
proves
right.
my point. Chemistry is very much needed. Yes, it can be small chemistry, but it needs chemistry.
Yeah, I believe that can happen sometime during the marriage or like before the marriage, but I'm not saying that it should happen. Hmm.
Mm.
Like I'm thinking, if you met a girl who is also a Christian and has similar values, but like, would there be natural chemistry that you know naturally builds up because you guys have similar values and you already consider that mating, or is there really a case that there'll be no chemistry? Like I feel like if the appearance is okay, according to my standards, if it's okay, and they have similar world values, I'm already interested, and the girl might be already interested. I kind of
Mm.
like it's like
Mhm.
a combined thing. It's not really like if you met the criteria, you would naturally be interested in that person, and then chemistry will happen later on.
Mhm. Mm. Yes, I agree. But you know how hard it is for people nowadays to find a person that is met, first of all, met their threshold. Because you need to meet that threshold in order to be attracted, right? And then they would preferably share the similar worldview and preferably being able, emotionally available to start a relationship and then have a nice enough personality that you can at least endure. And then mutually attractive, like attracted to each other. You know how hard that is nowadays?
I mean, it's hard to do that, but like it's easy to find a girlfriend, but it's hard to find a girlfriend that matches the criteria that you just mentioned. Like my friends are not listening to my advice or what I suggest
Mm-hmm.
about similar value or like must be a Christian or something like that. They
Mm-hmm.
approach girls and then be their boyfriend and continue to do whatever they like. They're not they're not doing what I told them to. So, but I believe that's just delaying the problem. So, if you solve the problem in the beginning by raising your standards, you're not going to solve the potential breakup by dealing with it later. So, so it's
Mm-hmm.
more like a relationship is obviously going to be hard, but the question is whether you want it to be hard in the first place or in the middle or even in the end. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to start to end or to it's it's hard for every single relationship. So yeah, it's more like it's your choice to pick and choose your poison.
Honestly, choose your poison. But I honestly find that hard
Yeah.
because again, it is back to the theory where is like how would you know? Like how would you know your choice is right? Maybe you're thinking, "Oh my God, this person is like the love of my life," right? And then the next day it's like, "No, it's not. It's actually just your own delusion."
Have you heard about? like what love is to some people. Like someone said that it's like when you have a one night stand with someone and then you wake up in the morning and he or she cook you food, that's not
Mm-hmm.
love. He probably wants to fuck you again. Or she, you know.
Ew.
Like to yeah, being honest, like but if someone sleeps with you for every single day for like a few years and then he or she wakes up and before you and cook you breakfast like every
Mm-hmm.
day, is that love?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have this uh, time is not the like it's not like after how
Yeah.
many years it will be love, but it's more like the commitment that makes it love. So you can't like love in the early few months, those are more like liking or passion. But if you talk about like true love, it's like despite the circumstance or despite like being despite it being hard to wake up early in the morning and cook you breakfast, I still do so by wake up early in the morning and cook you breakfast. So
Mm-hmm.
that's so love is maybe love is not exactly a feeling like passion, but it's more like it should be. It should be more like a recognition of like of your effort or your commitment. Like of course,
I
like when I talk about love, I'm not talking about like if you spend so many years together, it's love. Because a mother can risk her life to save her early born child, which just happens in maybe a few months, and that's
mm-hmm.
already called love.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not about time. It's more about the effort and how committed you
I
are.
think it's more about the effort compared to this person's threshold. For example, I have like $100 and I'm willing to give you $10. And you think $10 a lot, but you don't know I have $100. But another person give you only $8, but they only have $10. So who would you think loves you more? Obviously, the one that gives you $8 because they only have 10 to give to begin with, right? So if we're going back to the example you're talking about, if you're having a one night stand and the person cooks you breakfast, yes, they may only just trying to fuck you again. But also, maybe they just really fell in love with you and they're trying to make you a breakfast that they never even made, even for their parents.
And
You
then
know?
maybe
On the
that's
count,
effort.
like maybe that's a flint. Maybe after that breakfast they fuck again and they never meet each other. But at that point, maybe that person genuinely is loving the other person because they are giving, basically they're giving the most they can give, right? So if I only have $10 but I'm willing to give you more than half of it, you would consider that as me making an effort, right? Maybe the portion of my half isn't as much as the person that have $100 or 1,000. They would give you the same. I can give you $6 and they will give you, I don't know, $100. But $100 for $1,000 people is only 10%. But for me, it's like 60%. So for me, yes, it's not about the time, but it's more about the relative effort you're willing to put. And I heard of this theory online. It said how to determine if your partner loves you or not is to see what their scares they give you the most. So for example, if a person is poor but they're willing to give you their money, or for example, the person is very busy but they're willing to spend their weekend or their weekdays with you. So they only have so little money slash time, but they're willing to use the scared resources on you. And that definitely means something. That means they think you are a person worth of their scared resources. So that means, implies that you're important enough for them to make that decision and make that effort for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like in the Bible,
Yeah.
that like a woman or something that donates a really tiny amount of money, but almost that's most that's almost all she had. And then Jesus said that that's really valuable, or like even more valuable than the rich person that gave another amount of another large amount of money. And that's a fair point. But also you also have to recognize that even the proportion, even there's a relative portion determines the effort to some extent. There's like the effort that a rich person who have rich more resources gave should not be undermined, undermined, like should not be looked down on just because it is
Mm-hmm.
it's relatively little compared to what he have. Because people spending like millions of dollars on charity, even though they have way more money than that, but that money actually literally help a lot of people. So you're right in sense of like a mental effort or mental consequences, but you also have to recognize that the amount of money, the literal amount of money that someone gives, also have a different impact. But I'll say that
Mm.
if you have scarce resources and you still give, mentally you're really paying more effort mentally. But but in reality, like the amount of money that they give still kind of matters to some degree. It's just different parameters, I guess. Like in
Mm-hmm.
one parameter is like the mental resources, and the other parameter is the literal resource. You know, like both plays a role and both have a fair share in determining your effort. But yeah, like I'm not disagreeing. I'm agreeing. I'm just saying that there's more to the
Yeah.
perspective. Yeah,
Yeah. I know what you mean. You're adding on the point. I mean, true. The effort, regardless, shouldn't be ignored because you don't have to do the effort to begin with, right? You can just live your own life, but instead you're making at least certain amount of effort to appeal to someone else. So I feel like yes, it should be appreciated and be thanked regardless, right?
yeah, and and this kind of love is not only not only limited to romantic relationships, but also leads to like friendship or like other different relationships. And yeah, just like this podcast, this episode, I'm really glad that you spent a lot of time here with me talking about this kind of stuff, and I really appreciate that because it's
Mm-hmm.
you have a scarce time schedule, and you spend a, f- a fair amount of time, but in this podcast and being interviewed by me,
Mm-hmm.
and I really appreciate it.
Of course, because I feel like you are a good friend for me, and since you kindly invited me, and I would think you would appreciate my effort as well. So, and I'm glad we're having this conversation because we haven't had like this kind of deep conversation in a while, mostly because I'm busy and you're also busy.
Yeah. So, thank you for coming. I
Of course, anytime.
I guess
Okay, not anytime.
anytime.
Do like a two. No, not anytime. Okay, if you're gonna invite me again, do it a week before, 5 business days before, and then I can arrange my time. I'm busy. I'm a busy girl. Thank
Busy
you.
girl. Okay.
Yeah, busy businesswoman. Busy businesswoman, actually.
Business. What? Say it again.
I'm a busy businesswoman. Okay? I am. Why are you laughing?
No, I'm saying like
Bro.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, but
So
anyways, thank you for inviting me.
okay. So if you like this podcast, you can follow me on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, or maybe even Apple Podcasts. If you like it, please give a like. We'll see you next time. See ya.